What is the oldest trick in the book that you've fallen for? Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, and our idiom, our expression that I shared today in Supersize Your Business was the oldest trick in the book. We'll talk about that in a minute. Welcome to day 1,237 of What's She Up To Now. Documenting my journey as I transitioned from the brick and mortar business to the online business. Decided I would share my journey in a daily video, primarily because my vision has gone from bad to worse, from almost non-existent to even more almost non-existent. So instead of writing and filling up journals like I normally do and documenting my journey that way, as well as in a blog, typing and all that became a bigger challenge for me than hopping on the camera and just talking. So I share my journey as I transition from the brick and mortar world to the online world, coming from over a quarter century in corporate America, actually working for some of the most amazing corporations on the world, some of the biggest companies on the planet, as well as a huge family-owned organization that was sold and merged and acquired several times, and a lot of different other businesses and industries. So corporate career, but on top of that, I had my own businesses throughout my entire career. I'm trying to think. It was actually my first job out of college, and I had businesses before that, but my first job out of college, I got involved in a business that I ran on the side for 35 plus years, and went and worked in that primarily in 2003. Oh my gosh, it's been a long time. And then as part of my divorce, divested myself of that business and all my others that I was doing with my ex-husband, and went on a journey to say, okay, I'm old. I don't want to go back to some of the things I've done before that I've done with my ex-husband for sure, but what do I want to do? I'd always been curious about the online world, so I thought, well, I'm going to hop on. I'm going to see if I can figure this online crazy world out. Millions of people are figuring it out, or hundreds of thousands of people have figured it out, and I like to believe that if they've done it, then I can do it. Now, obviously, I've not had a straight line trajectory to the stars like we're convinced that we're going to have whenever we undertake a new endeavor, but that's not reality, is it? It's I love this. I like this oldest trick in the book. I wanted cards, but it's papers falling on me. I love some of the filters that there are available nowadays for making our videos and for Facebook Live. I am clearly a do what you can with what you've got right now kind of person. And since this is episode 1,237, and I have yet to have an intro or an outro on it, because I actually take this out and I strip the audio and put it in my podcast, I don't believe in following everyone else's rules on how we do everything. I think we need to take things that we learn, create, and make them our own. So what do I want to say about the oldest trick in the book? I love this idiom and this expression, primarily because I have fallen for so many old tricks throughout my life and my career. I guess you could say that I fell for my ex-husband, and that was one of the oldest tricks in the book. I believed he was someone and something that he isn't at a core level. I thought we had matching core values and things, but apparently there are a couple that we do not share. One of those being fidelity. And I'm like, okay, that's a showstopper rule breaker for me. Other old tricks in the book, and what my question is for you today is, have you fallen for any old tricks in the book? And what were they? I kind of want to make a collection or a list of them, because I was thinking of the ones I just started thinking last night and this morning about some of the ones that I've fallen for. And also, I took it a little further and I said, how many old tricks in the book have I played on myself? Whenever we tell ourselves something that isn't true, or we are let our subconscious override our brain in things that we know to be true in terms of our beliefs, we're playing the oldest trick in the book on ourselves. I think that lies and truth and reality are the oldest trick in my book and in my personal experience. So I'm curious, what is your oldest trick in the book? I mean, I've fallen for some crazy tricks. Fell for my ex-husband, fell for an ex-partner that was, and took him on as a partner that was just a nightmare, despite my intuition, which I didn't listen to. Maybe the oldest trick in the book is that we have intuition, but whenever we don't listen to it, we're destined to have challenges. But I also think that things like flattery, blaming others for something, judging, accusing, doubt, worry, fear, lies, manipulation, tips, tricks, and strategies to manipulate people into doing what you want. Lots of sales and marketing strategies are really manipulative tricks, not the, and a lot of human nature, a lot of how human beings work and the exploitation of that information can be used for good or it can be used for evil. We're seeing it used for evil right now in the world, and it's been being used for evil for a long time. Facts and reality and the truth has been twisted and manipulated for centuries by those who seek power, and we're seeing it right now on a global scale, but especially here in the United States. And it's kind of, it can be really scary if you let it be scary, but I step back and I watch it, and I watch it as if it's just a big game being played out. And I think that there's always this continuous struggle or battle or conflict or clashing of good and evil, right and wrong. And it's why so many movies and so many stories and so many shows and so many tales and so many everything, I mean the whole Bible, right, is about good and evil, because it's an underlying theme of our world, of our universe. And so I think it's interesting to watch it play out. And when you can step back and watch without having a vested interest in the outcome. No, honestly, we all have a vested interest in the outcome because it determines how comfortable or uncomfortable our life might be going forward. But when you can sit back and just watch and realize that it's you're watching things play out and see how they play out, I think it takes a lot of the stress, doubt, worry, and fear out of it. I can honestly say I am not worried or stressed out about what's going on in the world. I know a lot of people are very frightened. Even people in my own family and people I work with every day are very frightened by the whole COVID pandemic thing, by what's going on in politics and religion and the world order and the world peace and things. And I'm not scared of that. I guess, you want to say que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. However, I'm not afraid of it because I know that I will choose my reaction and my response based on what's right for me, no matter what the situation is, no matter what's going on in the world. And if we do that, and if we're confident in our ability to make our life work out and to have things work out for us, then there's really nothing to be afraid of. Now, I'm not going to say I'm not afraid of anything, because I'm afraid of stuff, right? I don't like bugs. I don't like bugs in the house. I think they're creepy, crawly, gross. I don't like bugs in the house. I don't mind bugs outside. That's their natural habitat and environment. They can be out there all they want. I just don't want them in the house, ever. I saw an ant the other day, so I'm kind of disturbed about it. Big old carpenter ant must have crawled in. Ugh. Makes my skin crawl. I don't like snakes. Anything that moves that fast without legs kind of creeps me out. I am better about heights. I used to be super duper afraid of heights. Like, I could get up anything high, but it was the getting down that was always a challenge for me. So we're all afraid of things. Being afraid of things is part of our human existence. And it's up to us to challenge those fears and overcome those fears and ask ourselves, I think that we have them to show us that we are capable of so much more than we think we are. We can do, be, and have whatever we want, but only we can make that happen. Nobody can do it for us. No coach, no mentor, no anything can actually create it in our life. They can show us the way. They can be an example. They can give us tips, tricks, and strategies, but it's up to us to do those things, to participate, to take action, to make the choices that are right for us. So, oldest trick in the book. I got a lot out of that particular idiom today. And those are my favorite. The favorite idioms that I cover, and part of why I do it is to keep my mind working, particularly during COVID, where everything was up in the air and changing. I needed something every day that I could focus on that gave me a little teeny sense of, I want to say routine. Gave me a little bit of routine, something that I was going to do every day to keep moving forward, to keep taking action at a time when, guess what? My natural inclination was to curl up in a little ball under a blanket and wait till it was over. How many of us feel that way about a lot of things in our life? But we know that just because that's our initial response and triggered response doesn't mean it's the best response for us. And so I knew early on, like before even the pandemic started, but for sure when all the craziness started, that I had to have a way of doing something every day to keep moving me toward my goals and objectives. So that's what I do. That's why I do content creation. That's why I do videos. That's why I share some of the stuff I've learned over all my many, many years of existence here on the planet. So our annual challenge, speaking of sharing, this is the 4th year in a row now that I've done an annual challenge, and this year's is the All About You 365-day challenge to do one thing every day that centers you. And by centering, and I needed this for some reason, 2020, as much as I kept moving forward, it took a toll on me emotionally. And I'm like, okay, I've been working on this stuff for well over a decade. So if it's niggling away and chipping away at me and how I feel about things, I need to go back and get more centered. I need to get focused and figure out what's important for me, what makes me tick, what works, what doesn't work for me, and make sure I'm moving forward in those things, not in things that are important to other people. So last year was do one fun thing every day, and that was perfect with my granddaughter, who now just graduated from kindergarten and will be going to first grade next year. I've got her this summer, and she's hanging out with me this summer, but this week she is in swimming lessons and summer school. So she is a busy little girl, a very tired little girl, and busy when I see her, and I don't get to see her too much this week and next week because of her busy activity. But then we have got piles and piles, literally. Her dad bought piles of projects for us to do this summer. We're going to have a blast. We already started making a unicorn dream catcher, which is beautiful. Now, keep in mind, I am visually challenged. So some of these projects, I'm like, yeah, great grandma's going to have to help you with that. Great spirit grandma Betsy's going to have to help you with that, because some things, she wants to do these sewing projects, and I'm like, not sewing these days. I like my fingers, and I don't want any extra holes in them. So our challenge today it's a first part of a two-part one for do one thing every day that centers you, is all about answers. And we've spent our entire life getting the answers to things, learning answers. Now, I don't know if you know it or not, but we think in questions. Our brain is always asking questions and thinking in questions. So our thinking is really questioning everything. Maybe that's why some of us are so judgmental. Now, I take myself out of that equation. I'm not nearly as judgmental as I used to be, but some of my family still is, which drives me a little crazy. I'm not gonna fib about that. But today was all about what's an answer that you discovered today or you learned today about something maybe that you've been curious about for a long time. I think every day I figure new things out. I'm getting answers to the questions of how the heck do you take care of a 4-month-old after not having a 4-month-old around and actually I took care of my 6-year-old granddaughter when she was a baby, so I can't even complain because I took care of her all day while I was running an Italian food manufacturing business. So I remind myself every day when I get tired and I think it's hard, hey, you did it with a 3-month-old to a 2-year-old when you're running an Italian food manufacturing business, so I think you can handle one little 4-month-old working online by yourself for a couple of weeks. So that's what I remind myself of. So we have the answers. I truly believe that everything we ever want to know, everything we need is inside of us. It's just a matter of finding it, tapping into it, or hooking up with the right people, the right resources, asking the right questions to create whatever it is that we want in our lives. So speaking of 4-month-olds, she's going to wake up on me any second now. I really lucked out. I've got a system now where she sleeps a good chunk of time at night. Then I get her up in the morning, change her diaper, feed her a bottle, and she goes to sleep for another couple hours. Maybe don't tell her mom, but I'm telling her mom. They're tracking it on an app called Nara Baby, so they know as long as I remember to put it in. They know what's going on with her with diaper changes, feeding, sleep. Except for I turned the timer on yesterday, and my daughter messaged me, has the baby really been sleeping 18 hours? I'm like, obviously not, but I don't always remember to go into the app and turn it on and off every time I do a diaper change. I'm sure I've missed a diaper change here and there, but, I'm just one person. You do the best you can with what you've got right now. And I do like having the app. It's fun because it's a way to communicate with them without having to send them a million messages or a million texts or call them all the time. So they can enjoy their vacation in Alaska, and I can enjoy bonding with my amazing little granddaughter. If I can help you in any way, if you have a question that's just boggling your mind and you're not sure what to do next, ask. I might not know the answer, but I guarantee I can hook you up with a person, place, thing, resource that will get you to your next step so you never have to feel frozen or like you don't know what to do. Because guess what? We always know what to do. We just don't always want to admit that we know what to do to ourselves. Because sometimes what we have to do next is something that we're resisting on a subconscious level for whatever reason. How do I know all this? Been there, done that. That's it. That's all I've got today. Have an absolutely fantastic day. It is summer here in Wisconsin, and I plan on enjoying every little bit of it with a 4-month-old strapped to my chest. Have an awesome day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow. Bye.